Okay, ladies, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to each and every one of you. This is our very first Women Rising event. So we are so excited to be with all of you today. And just some housekeeping stuff. I want to make sure that all of you stay, till the very end, because we have some amazing giveaways that we are going to do at the very end. So, please stay till it's over. And, we're just excited for you guys to join us today and to learn about these amazing products, this amazing opportunity, because these women that you're going to hear from, their lives have completely been changed and transformed from these products and this amazing opportunity. I know myself, I am a single mom, a full-time working single mom of a 9 and a 6-year-old, and literally would not go a day without putting these products inside of my body. And, when we feel better, right, we're just able to be better for our family. So with that, I am going to turn it over to our very first speaker. She is the Vice President of Field Engagement, Ms. Susie Schaefer.
Thank you, Shauna. Thank you very much. I just want to welcome everyone to the very first Women Rising virtual event. I'm just so excited to be here with you, and I just can't wait to hear the stories from these wonderful women that are coming up. We've wanted to have a women's event for a long time, and it is so satisfying to see it come to fruition. Thank you to all those leaders out there on the focus group that made this possible. People on the outside of Zurvita often ask us, what makes Zurvita so unique? How did the culture come about that is so loving and accepting of all people? And without hesitation, the team always points back to the founding principles. Why are these so important? Because these are the rudders, the anchors, and the sails of this company. Did you know that from inception, every decision that is made in corporate is sifted through these principles? If a decision violates one of these principles, doesn't move forward. These are our rudders that steer us through potential storms. They're anchors that keep us in one place during stormy weather, and at the same time, they are what gives life and wind to our sails to move forward into all that God has called us to be. Way back, God gave these to Mark and Tracy, even before the company was started. God had his eye on this company even before it was birthed, sort of like he has his eye on all of us. How incredibly wonderful is that? The first principle is to build a company that honors and glorifies God. We do this by treating everyone with respect and showing love and grace, not preaching to people, not saying to do this or that, but loving on them and demonstrating God's love in our actions. The second principle is to create a company of humble leadership. Remembering where you came from is very important. You got to where you are because of other people. Why take credit for what others have done? These women you're going to hear from today demonstrate this every day by their willingness to help you succeed in business and life. The third principle is to create a company where people can win at every level. You don't have to be a superstar to make it at Zurvita. You're just as important to us at the beginning of your journey as you are at the end. You are a winner at each and every level in this business. These founding principles also dictate what our culture is like. We want you to feel like you are part of a community that has purpose and that is on the move. Our culture screams that you matter, that if you were the only person in Zurvita, you would matter. We really do believe that each person needs to believe that they matter, that they are chosen by God to accomplish something while they are on this earth. What is your purpose? Why were you drawn to join us today? Why are you doing what you do? These kinds of questions are also part of our culture. We want you to find out what your purpose is. This culture and our founding principles drive us to create organizations like Zurvita Giving, which is a nonprofit corporation that looks to give that one hand up to people and families in need. This year, we partnered with Habitat for Humanity to build a home for a family. I'm proud to say that we are about $10,000 away from our goal. It costs $70,000 to build a home for Habitat. So the Zervita family, which is most of you, will be building a home in early March. The proceeds from the Women Rising t-shirts and accessories are going to Zervita Giving. We will use these funds to build a home for a family. Also, we gave to the essential workers during the pandemic, and we gave to help the firemen with the fires out in Oregon. We have another fundraiser coming up in November, which will be a 5K run, walk, bike, whatever exercise, and all those proceeds from that event will go to Zervita Giving. I hope you'll join us. We are very much about giving back what we have been blessed with. Our founding principles and our culture are what drive us to do these types of projects, and we want to do more and more of them. Zervita is here to provide and to give away. That's what we are all about. Provision of health products and income for people, and then a vehicle and a drive to give it away in endeavors like Zervita Giving and Habitat. And with that, I'm going to turn the mic over to Holly Yount so that you can hear her incredible story and the others that will follow her. They truly are the amazing women who have had ups and downs just like all of us. But let's listen to Holly as she tells us her story.
Well, thank you, Susie. I so appreciate you just opening up the day with your kind spirit and just your loving heart. It is just absolutely just incredible. And ladies, we have, oh my goodness, we have an amazing plan for you. So I hope that you are excited about it. If you're excited, let's hear in the chat how excited you are. I'm trying to look over here in the chat so I can keep up with all of your comments in the chat. But this morning, I wanted to talk to you all about a fresh start. So a fresh start is what I'm going to talk about, a new beginning, so to speak. So is there anyone here this morning that you feel like maybe you can use a fresh start or a new beginning right about now, with all of the craziness going on with this pandemic? And I mean, it can really get us down. It can really bring our attitudes and our energies down. And I think a lot of us probably are ready for a fresh start, a new beginning. And to do that, what I want to do this morning is I want to take you back to my personal breaking point. I want to share my story and my heart with you all this morning. And in sharing my story, I hope someone here is going to relate to what I am saying, because, your breaking point is often your breakthrough point. So I want you to think about that this morning. Your breaking point is often your breakthrough point. And again, in my story, I want you to know that if you're sitting here this morning, wherever you're at, maybe you're in a robe and your hair's, up in a bun, or you have kids running around, or maybe you just feel really lonely right now. Maybe you're feeling stressed out. Maybe you're overwhelmed. Maybe you feel hopeless. Maybe you feel discouraged. Maybe you feel disappointed. All of those emotions that we as women can experience. Failure. Maybe you're sitting here feeling like, man, I'm failing as a mom, failing as a wife. You're just feeling distressed. And I want you to know, as you're listening to my story, that God has a way of moving us through trouble to take us to the next level. And I'm hoping that you will hear my heart as I share some of these things that I personally have been through. So my breaking point came in the summer of 2009. Mom, raising our 5-year-old son, James Jr. And I've been married to my husband at that time for 10 years. I've known Jamie since I've been 9. I'm 44, he's 47. Do the math. Like, we've known each other for a really, really long time. And at that time we had been, married for 10 years. And Jamie, he was, working in a life-sucking factory. He was not fulfilled or happy with where he was at. And he was working 60, 70 hours a week. And in that summer of 2009, my breaking point was I was sitting on the kitchen floor in our very small home, where you'd stand in the kitchen and you could touch the walls with both. It was like, whoa, we were in a small home. Our view out of our window was a trailer park. So that was our view. That was the vision that we got to look at every day. Me specifically, because I was that stay-at-home mom at home. And I was sitting on the kitchen floor and my son James was in my lap and I was just crying. I was bawling because our electricity had been turned off for the third time that summer, and it was hot in Ohio. And I was just overwhelmed. I felt like a complete failure, thinking, how in the world did I get here? How is this my life right now? And, knowing that I was going to have to call my parents once again and ask them for a loan of some funds that I could turn my electricity back on. It was never really a loan, though. And I just felt like a failure. And, here was Jamie working all the time and we never saw him. So he was really an MIA dad. And I felt like a single mom, although I was not one. I felt like one. And we had creditors calling us. I was just at the lowest point I'd ever been in my life. We were about $300,000 in debt. We had student loan debt. We had credit card debt. We had a mortgage. We had a broken down car, one car that Jamie was driving that, we were still paying on. And we had medical bills. I had some medical issues. And so we had all of these things like just pressing us down. And our life was stressful. And I remember that same night that I had been sitting on the floor in the afternoon, that same night, we were sitting at the dinner table and our son, James, basically told me, he said, "Mommy, you're my hero and not you, Daddy." And it devastated my husband. Although I felt great about that, it devastated my husband. My husband grew up without a father, and he swore, we've been friends for a long time. And I heard him say from young childhood to adulthood, I'm never going to be like my dad. I'll always be a present dad. And yet here he was, not because his heart wasn't right, not because he wasn't a great dad, but here he was really repeating that cycle. And that night it crushed him. All he ever wanted to be was his son's hero, and he wasn't doing that. And so that night, Jamie and I, we just prayed that God would bring something to us. As a matter of fact, it was the first time in our adult life that we had ever prayed. And I don't care what your beliefs are here today, you matter and you belong, but that's just our beliefs. And, the very next day, we were introduced to this industry. And what we saw was our breakthrough, because I saw hope. I saw a way that I could get my husband home. Saw a way first that he could get out of overtime, and then saw a way that we could get him home. And so we said yes to this industry for time freedom, because I miss my best friend. And I wanted my son to grow up with his dad in his life. And we started in this industry and we found out we were super passionate about helping people find a different way. And as we help more people, we started to build a legacy business, and we couldn't believe it. Who knew two kids from middle Ohio, somewhere in the middle of cornfield and beans, one stoplight town, 900 people, would go on to build a legacy business? Jamie walked away from his job in 2011, and we've been in this industry ever since. And we welcomed our second child, Charlie, in 2013. And what a blessing he has been in our life. We were not supposed to have any more kids. And, by God's miracle powers, we had here I was at 38 years old, pregnant again. Surprise, surprise. And we were just living the American dream. We had time freedom, and we were able to purchase a dream home, and just all of these things were just going great. And we thought, wow, it doesn't get any better than this. And fast forward to 2019. And in May of 2019, we were asked to get on a conference call with the business that we had built for 10 years. And on that conference call, it was a 5 minutes conference call. We were basically told that our company would no longer be paying us, and that our family, our team was all going direct to the company. And to tell you the emotions that we went through at that time, we were shattered. We were broken. We were again at a breaking point. And, after a lot of prayer and even asking ourselves, did we really want to continue to do this again? And really, we ask ourselves that not because we didn't want to continue helping people and loving on people, but because of a word. And the word is fear. We were so fearful. We had this big question. Well, what if this happens again? What if we pour our whole heart and soul into this and it happens again and it's taken away? Because sometimes, I don't know who can relate to this, maybe in the chat, but sometimes when you feel like you've had to fight your whole entire life and you just keep fighting and fighting and fighting, no matter how strong you are, everybody has a limit, a breaking point. And we were at our ultimate breaking point in May of 2019. And I'll tell you right now, you can have more degrees in a thermometer and still have a limit. Okay, we had our limit. We were done at that point. Like, what is going on? But we also knew that God was still on the throne. Romans 8:28 is still true. It was true then, it's true now, that the things that you're going through, the things that are against you are going to work out for your good. And we knew that in our heart. We just had to convince our mind. We knew it in our heart. Sometimes it's easy in our heart, but hard to convince our mind, and that God was for us. And Zurvita, the Risen Life Company, Mylanta. We landed here, and I'll tell you this, after speaking with Miss Tracy Jarvis on the phone in June of 2019, I searched her out, and I wasn't worried about what everyone else was doing. I just want to know who are Tracy right away to see, is this where we're going to be? Because I knew the heart was them. It was their company. So I sought her out on Facebook, believe it or not, sent her a message, thought she'll never reach back out to me. I'm nobody, but you know what? She did. And she called us. We spent an hour with her on the phone. She listened to all of my thoughts. She answered every question I have. I'm like an intense investigator. And as soon as we hung up the phone, I looked at Jamie and I said, this is home. This is it. This is where we're supposed to be. So we started to rebuild. We started over again at 44 and 47. This was our job. This was our income, our only source of income. We started again. And everything that the enemy stole from us, God is giving us back 1,000-fold. I'd be lying if I'm on here and said that this has been easy. It has not been easy. There's been ups and downs and all kinds of other things that have happened that I don't have time to share. But just know it hasn't been easy. But nothing in your life is ever going to be easy. And, we realized that through all the ups and downs, God had been leading us here all along. So a lot of times people say, would you go through all that again if you could? And the answer is yes, 100,000 times yes, to be here in this company. And I could spend a month of Sundays telling you all of the blessings that we've received since we've been here, how God has aligned us with the most amazing people from this company, the women from this company, the heartbeat of Zurvita. Oh my goodness, from Tracy to Susie to Shauna. I know I'm probably going to leave someone out. Edenith, Adriel, Miranda from the corporate side. And then all of the women in the field that we have met have just been, they welcomed us with open arms and just loved on us. So my hope today is that, you're going to open your heart to hear these stories, the heartbeat of Zurvita, and that you're going to leave ready to have a fresh start today. That you're going to leave and you're going to say, I am exactly where I belong. Because here at Zurvita, I'm telling you, you matter and you are loved. You are enough. You're never alone. You can do hard things. You're well able. You're not going to be shaken. You are enough and you matter here. You matter here. And everybody, all the stories you're going to hear, we're all so different, but yet we're all the same. And if you're looking for a sisterhood, you don't have to look anymore because you found it here. And it is incredible what we have been a part of. And I love how God has restored, and I know he will continue to restore all the lives that Jamie and I will personally be able to touch through this vehicle, through Zurvita. And I just appreciate y'all listening to my story. There are lives to be changed, and we have the opportunity to go out there and do it. So with that being said, I am going to take this little Brady Bunch Zoom here to my good friend. She's my sister. I love her so much. Jill Mills, to share these products with you all and how they have helped her in her health journey. So Jill, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, Holly. I'm super excited to be here with all of you ladies. Just really an honor for me to be asked. So like Holly, I came here from another past experience and really came with my arms folded and stubborn and didn't want to move forward with something like this again. But I also came seeking something that Zurvita had. And that was something that I feel like doesn't get enough attention here. And that's Z-Blends. So I came here specifically looking for CBD. I had tried 6 or 7 different kinds because one of the things that I deal with in my personal health is I have a chronic blood disorder, which has caused me some autoimmune deficiencies, chronic nutrient deficiencies, and really just a lot of chronic pain, sleep issues, migraines. So I came here looking for the best of the best, and God knew what he was doing because I totally found it here. I came, like I said, with sleep issues. In 2015, our family had a lot of tragedy. We lost 4 immediate family members in a year, including my mom, who was it was a traumatic experience for me. She had a rare esophageal cancer from reflux, and it was very fast. She passed away 8 weeks after we found the cancer. So I didn't sleep for about 4 years, just anxiety and fear of that happening to me or my sister or my dad, because we all have that same issue. So I came and I tried all 3 of the Z-Blends. And the first night I tried it, my husband was away on business, which was a huge trigger for my anxiety. Because every time he was out of town in 2015, that's when somebody died. So it was a huge trigger. And that very first night, I slept through the night. I didn't even turn over. And I was just amazed. Second night, he was still gone, and the same thing. I slept through the night like a rock. And I was just like, this has to be too good to be true. So day 3, I've been on all 3 of the oils by this time, and it was storming in Ohio, which happens often. And I was pretty much like a human barometer. I could tell when the weather was going to be bad just by my body aches and my migraines. And it started storming, and I looked up from the table sitting with my son, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's raining. And he's like, yeah, big deal. I'm like, I didn't feel it coming on. I didn't have a migraine. I wasn't hurting. It was just incredible. And, it hasn't cured me, but it's switched my life from having bad days more than good days to more good days than bad. I have only had 2 migraines in 15 months, and I used to have 3 to 5 a week, ending up in the ER on a cocktail for migraines. So it's just really blessed my life. I used to go to bed crying or complaining every night, which, let me tell you, ladies, that doesn't do much for the marriage. And that has changed. So it has changed our whole household. And I am sold out on every product at this point. Repair, I eat it like Fun Dip. I love it. It's so good. But the transformation, I really got serious about that after Z-Fest in January. And I've lost 42 pounds since January. I have a big weight loss journey to go, but that's huge for me, especially being over 40 now. It comes off slower at this point. But that's my journey, and I'm not going to stop. It will take as long as it takes. So for me, coming here and thinking about doing a business again was really intimidating. To be the chunky chick in health and wellness is hard. But it's like every story here matters. From, like Susie said, from start to finish, it matters. From your first drink of Zeal that helps you not nap through the day, to that fuel which helps you do all the things. It matters to someone, and someone needs to hear your story. So anybody can do this. It's like in the Bible, when Jesus meets the Samaritan woman, she would be what we might call today a hot mess. But Jesus didn't tell her to clean your act up first, make sure you look good, and then go out and tell people what I've done for you. He said, go now. Go now as you are and start telling people what I've done. And that's what we have to do here, because somebody needs your story. Whether you're at the beginning of your journey, the middle, or the end, someone needs what you have here. And that's why I'm here. And that's all I've got today. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jill. That was amazing. And I love you so much. And I wish I could give you a big hug. And your story is just so impactful. And I know that just rocks somebody's world here. If it just helped one person, then, wow, absolutely amazing. Now, I'm going to take it over here to, I believe, California. And I'm going to take it to my friend, Bernadette. Here she comes.
Hey, Holly. Hi, everyone. Such an honor to be here. Thank you, Jill, for your beautiful testimonial. I never get tired of those testimonials. That's why I do this. So I found Zurvita in 2014. I love this product. I just love to share it with everyone. But I have a lot of kids. So I'm a mother of 8. And I've been married to my husband for 36 years. And just as you would imagine, stresses in my life. Then I had a son that went to Afghanistan as a Marine. So I just a lot of stress was going on. I was putting on weight. And last summer, I had inched my way up, surprise, surprise, to 194 pounds. And I was pretty miserable. And I said, what is going on here? I need to have step forth in faith and do the transformation system like no kidding. I didn't know what to expect. I also have an autoimmune disease that my doctor said, well, pretty much that's one of the reasons why you gain so much weight, and you're probably not going to lose any. So that's always my favorite when people tell me I can't, because I just go, really? I'll show you. So I got to work, started just really, no kidding, didn't make it my own version, really followed it. And I'm now 134 pounds. I weigh the same as I did when I got married 36 years ago. And I wear smaller sizes than my daughters. So it's really, really fun. They're actually borrowing clothes from me now. But I just really honored and blessed to come on here, because I just know that so many people struggle with this problem. And for years, I would, get to an okay weight where I'd be, I'd look okay or sort of feel okay, but I never believed I could get to my dream weight of 134 pounds. And it's just like a miracle to me. I feel like so many people struggle with it. And then they also, believe the lies. I'm 61 years old. So they believe that, I'm older, menopause, you shouldn't look older, you're going to look bad. Just all these things that people would say to me or I'd hear. And I felt like I was kind of like the fly trying to get out the window, just trying. And the solution was right in front of me. I had been a Sister Vita consultant since 2014, and I had a transformation system in my house, and I was selling it to people, and I was selling lots of zeal to people. And it was right there. It was an answer to a prayer, and he had already given me the answer to the prayer like a long time ago. And he's like, could you open the box, dummy? And just open it. So that is, for me, has been such a miracle that it was so simple and it was just there. And I urged people to really, really give this a try. I mean, I've seen miracles with our products for sure. I mean, Jill's story is not uncommon. Hundreds of stories of just people doing so much better on our products. And it's all about nourishment and, getting that nourishment to the cells. But when you're overweight, you really need to step it up and eat better too. And lose your pride about what you think you know and really do what you're supposed to do. And God will bless you with a healthier life. And if you just kind of listen to what you're supposed to be listening to and do what you're supposed to do. And that's me. I'm just grateful, really grateful that I'm here as opposed to where I was last year. And it was pretty fast for me. Like I head down. Peter Nielsen talks about the 90-day challenge. Like, do it. Seriously, do it. Just count the days. Day 1, day 2, check them off. And you might need 3 90-day challenges. You might need 1, and just start with 1 90-day challenge. That's what I did. And then I said, well, I think I need another one. So I did another one. And that's basically, it was so simple. It was dumb. And that's what I did. And now I'm here to, honored to be able to share this with all of you, that you could really have, this pandemic year was just lousy, right? I mean, but I think it could be such a positive if people started now and spun a positive on it for the following year. And you could be a different person. You could look different. You'd just be so much healthier. And there's a few more months left in the year. You can like rock it out of the park for 90 days, have a great January instead of a New Year's resolution. So that's what I wanted to share with all of you. And thank you again for allowing me to be on here with all of you lovely ladies this morning.
Well, thank you, Bernie. That is such an amazing, beautiful story. And I know many of the ladies can relate to that for sure. So I appreciate your heart. And we are now going to take the Zoom to my friend in Tennessee, Miss Cindy Wright, so she can share her heart with us all.
All right. Thank you so much, Holly. Can you hear me okay? All right. Well, hello, everyone. It's always just so inspiring to be on any kind of women's event, because it is so my passion to help women to become the best that they can be. And really, because, that's how I started in this industry. And I started 30 years ago in this industry, actually 31 years ago. It's kind of freaks me out that I'm that old, number one. I just turned 60 just a month ago. And so, but just to go backwards in my life and how I got into this, well, my husband and I, we thought we were doing everything right. We met when I was 15, and he took me to get my driver's license. We got married when I was 21 or 22, and we got jobs, we went to college, we got our jobs, we moved to the big city, we were in our careers, then we had our baby, first child, and we found ourselves just smack dab in the middle of the rat race, and some of you ladies out there can probably relate to this. I was in a very high stressed job managing 250 people a day. I was working 10 hours a day. My husband, Kirby, was traveling. He left on Monday morning and he did not get back until Friday afternoon. So every week he was gone. So I was basically a single mom with at the time back then, she was 3 when I looked at this industry. She was living at daycare. Someone else was raising our daughter. And a lot of times I would pick her up from daycare and go back to the office with her. That's how much I was working. And we would live for the weekends, and then the weekends would come and we'd enjoy Saturday, but we didn't enjoy Sunday because we knew Monday was the next day. I'm like, what's wrong with this? This is crazy. And we really just looked at each other one day and said, is this it? Is this our life? This is how we're going to live it? Miserable? Because we're giving all of our time to build someone else's dream. And so we really started looking for a business that I could do from home that would allow me to, be at home with our daughter and have a business. Because quite honestly, we had gotten used to a dual income, family, and I couldn't just quit my job. And so we started looking at different things that we could do. I mean, we looked at vending machine companies. We looked at traditional businesses. Number one, we didn't have any money to start a business. So Kirby, my husband, actually found a card on his car that said, live your dream, drive a Rolls Royce or something, and we're like, hey, let's call. We ended up getting into 3 different companies, trying to find a product that we could get excited about. It was water filters. It was Mary Kay Cosmetics. There was several different companies. And we were like, okay, this isn't going to work for us. And we're like, but we just kept looking, and we ended up finding a product that I became passionate about. This was in 1990. I'm like, okay, I actually like this product. I love the product. So I think I can talk to people about this product. And so that's kind of how it all started. And so we started from scratch. We were like the first people in Atlanta with that product. So we didn't know what we were doing. When Kirby was still traveling Monday through Friday, I was still working 10 hours a day, taking my daughter to daycare, and then coming home and trying to make phone calls, trying to, do the business. And so it was very stressful. But when I learned about this industry, it fired me up, because I'm like, wow, where else can I go be the CEO of my own business? Where else can I make my own schedule? Where can I be the boss of me and help other people to have the same thing? It's one thing to get it for yourself, but when you can help other people to get out of their miserable situation and help them to become something else, that got me excited. And so literally, I had no confidence in myself. I grew up in a very, in an environment that was not the most positive environment. It was just very, just do your thing and get out of school and, live your life. And it was never you can be all you can be. I never got that. When I was a young child, I went through some things that no child should have to go through. I was violated. I was robbed of my self-worth. I was robbed of my self-confidence. So trying to do this business on my own with no support in a town, with trying to get it started and with no self-confidence, no sales experience. And I'm like, okay, Cindy, you can do this. You can do this. And I would just look at my little girl going to daycare every day and say, that's why I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing it, to get her out of that daycare so I can raise my daughter myself and not have somebody else do it. So I just worked my tail off, got out of my comfort zone. Y'all, the first time that I was asked to speak at a meeting, I I literally had to lay in the bathtub for 3 days because it was the only place that my stomach was not so nauseous that I was going to throw up. I mean, I literally heard my husband say, "Why are you still in the bathtub?" I'm like, because my stomach is so freaking sick. And so I got up that day. There was only 30 people in the whole room. And I thought it was like speaking. I thought I was speaking in front of 10,000. That's how nervous I was. And so I had to grow. I had to get out of my comfort zone. I had to say, "Cindy, do you want out of that job? Do you want to raise your daughter? Well, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone." And so I got up. I did it. Guess what? I lived through it. I'm like, "Okay, Cindy, you can do it again." So in a matter of about 3 years with that company, we were having success. I was on stage speaking in front of 5,000 people with Zig Ziglar, who was an incredible motivational speaker back in the day. He was in the back watching me speak. And when I got finished, y'all, I came back stage. I couldn't believe that he was back there watching me on the monitor. He got up from across the room, walked all the way over to me when I got off stage to tell me what a great job I did. I'm like, okay, that is personal growth. That was something that I didn't really expect to get out of this, to become someone that I didn't even think was possible. I mean, when I was a little girl, I always dreamed of big things. But like I said, my dreams were just shot. My self-worth went to hell and back when things happened to me that shouldn't have happened. So it's like being able to look at what happened in this industry, being able to get the growth that I was able to get, the confidence that I was able to get, that got me excited, because it's one thing, like I said, to give it to yourself. But when I knew there were so many other women out there that wanted to be home with their kids, but they couldn't, or they just needed that little bit of recognition, being able to have someone say, "Great job, you did good," that means the world to a woman who is not getting that at home. She's not getting those accolades at home, or maybe she's in a job that no one says, "You are amazing, you're great." And in our business, it happens all the time. That's what we do. We're like cheerleaders for everybody. And that is what keeps people going more than the money. The recognition is really what keeps people in this business. So fast forward, we actually met the founders of Zurvita, Mark and Tracy Jarvis, in that first company that we were in 1990. So it was amazing and so we knew they had gone on and become very successful. And when they said, we found out they were starting a company, we thought, okay, because we knew they were walking away from so much money that they were earning to start this company. We're like, okay, we got to check this out. And so we ended up checking it out. We came to Zurvita in 2008. So we have been here since the beginning of the company. We have seen this company grow. We've seen so many people's lives change because of our products. We've seen so many people's lives change, especially women, through our opportunity. And that just, it inspires me. It motivates me. Y'all, I've gone from, having a 3-year-old when I got started in this business to we had another child who knows nothing but this industry because she never went to daycare. And then we've been married 38 years now. And we have 4 grandbabies. So we've got, our daughters are married. We have grandbabies. We're empty nesters. We're living the dream because of this company, because of this industry, because we made a decision 30 years ago to not settle for that life that was misery, that life that Kirby and I did not have a relationship. When your husband travels from Monday to Friday, you have no relationship, because every time he would come home, it's like having to get to know him again. He'd throw his stuff down. I'm like, dang it, I had this house clean before you got home. Why don't you just stay gone? I mean, that was kind of how I felt a lot of days. Like, he's just coming home and wrecking up everything I've been doing this week. And it was no relationship. How do you have a marriage where you only spend a tiny bit of time together? And so our marriage has been saved because of this industry, being able to be together and spend time together. So there's just so many great things that our industry and Zurvita provides for a woman that I'm one of those that I'm like, why wouldn't you want to do it? Why wouldn't you want to participate in not only helping yourself, but being able to help other women too? So I'm grateful to be able to speak today, but I want you guys to hear some other stories. I get to introduce some mama stories. And the first one I want to bring on is Miss Shannon Dooley. And you guys, look at those babies. Oh my gosh, we begged her to have those babies on with her. So Shannon, I think you're probably in Oklahoma right now. They have a home in North Carolina too. So Shannon, tell us your story.
Okay, yeah, we'll see how long these little guys last up here. But I'll take you back to the beginning and then share with you the reason these guys are with me right now. So when we found Zurvita, Andy and I were in basically a hopeless situation. He was they didn't last long. Andy was delivering pizza and I was a school teacher. And we had dreams that just wasn't facilitating. Andy came to America and he was like, I didn't come here to deliver pizza. And so the longer that happened and the more that went on, the more hopeless we felt. And we got to a point where the bills were getting higher, the dreams were starting to shrink, and that's not what we wanted. So we were really looking for hope. And for Andy, he wanted something for fulfillment, something different, because he knew he was destined for something more and wanted to provide better for the family. And I just wanted enough to pay an extra bill. $350 was like what I was looking for. We had a honking car, and it was insane. When it first honked on me, Andy didn't believe me, but he made me drive this old clunker of a car, and it would honk. And it was just, talk about just dream killing, but we wanted more. So when Zurvita came along, we worked hard, and we just made goals and decided to dream again. Oh, he's fine. And decided to dream again. And Zurvita changed our life. It really gave us a different vision and scope. We were able to travel and do things, paid the debt off. And then almost 20 years into our marriage, we realized, we are ready to have kids of our own, because I have 2 girls from a previous marriage. And I just thought getting pregnant would be so easy. It was really easy in the beginning. And so I thought, here we go. We'll do this again. No problem. Oh yeah, big problem. So we had a surgery. I had my tubes tied. And so we were able to, through Zurvita, be able to pay for it, because a teacher's salary certainly wasn't going to do that. And so we had a surgery and to untie my tubes, and the doctor comes out and says, well, we have to take one because it's totally ridden with endometriosis, full of it. And if you may or may not know, endometriosis causes unexplained infertility. And so we tried what I thought was going to be a sure shot. It wasn't. It ended up being 4 years of fertility treatments. And so I'm sorry. So the pain that comes with that. I'm trying to get a hold of myself. The pain that comes with that, of month in and month out for 4 years of treatments and surgeries and pokes and proddings and shots and hormones. And everything we tried just wasn't working. But we poured every cent that we had into it. And because of Zurvita, we were able to do that. 4 years of it, of loss and finally success. So here I get pregnant. They're a year old now. So I finally get pregnant with a pregnancy that lasts. And I end up in the hospital for a month. And Andy was able to stay with me. And the babies came early. And he was able to be at NICU with me every single day of NICU. And Zurvita, I'm so thankful that we found this business because of working hard in the beginning and building up a residual. We were able to devote, now it's been 5 years, 4 years of infertility and treatments and a year of their life to devote to them and whatnot. So if you have a dream, as women, for your families, for yourself, if you have a dream and you don't have a way out, Zurvita could be that for you to dream again and just create a life for you and your family. We're just so incredibly grateful because without Zurvita, we don't believe these babies would be here. So I just wanted to share that with you and hope that you dream again.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Shannon. And I love those babies. I only get to see them on FaceTime, but hey, love them. Thank you so much. I love your story. All right, we're going to go down to Texas to Miss Audrey Ferris. And wow, does she have a mama story to tell you? And she is like in between ball games and everything else, and she'll tell you more about that. So Audrey, tell us your story.
Hey, Cindy, thanks for having me on here. And excuse my ball cap. This is my game cap. We're in between football games and it's cold and windy and my hair is crazy. So we're sitting in the car, actually in the parking lot, because I didn't. Cindy's like, don't be driving when you're talking today. It's like, don't worry, I'll pull over. We're good. But no, my husband Josh and I have 6 boys. Our oldest is 14 and our youngest is 6 months. And when we found this business, I guess 2012, my husband was working at the VA and we had 4 boys at the time. And we had decided very early on that I was going to stay home and we would just sacrifice whatever we had to do to make that happen. And after so many years of that and adding more children, our stress level became really high because our income was no longer meeting the needs that we had every month. And so a year and a half, I guess, prior to finding Zurvita, one of our children, our 3rd son, had become really sick. And so we'd been dealing with that for a year and a half on top of trying to keep up with all of our bills and everything. And it was just stress overload. And we weren't looking for something. We didn't know anything about the industry. I mean, I'd had like a Tupperware party. I mean, because I really wanted the stuff, not because I wanted to be a Tupperware distributor. Not that it's bad, but I didn't want to be one. But I didn't know anything about the industry. It fell in our lap. Literally, Emily Inverno was working at the VA with Josh and was like, here, take this, try this. And we loved it. So we talked about it. And it ended up being a huge product for our son to help him. And I don't want to get into detail with that for compliance issues, but it was just a big proponent in our house for health and not only for that, for stress. And so the product, we didn't know anything about the business. We just got super crazy about the product. And it was really me, because I don't know if Josh's belief system was there, because he worked his tail off at the VA and then he worked a side job on an ambulance service. And, when you're putting that many hours in a week and then you're like, oh, I don't really believe that this is going to happen, but whatever. So it's I kind of took control of that, and not because I meant to, it just kind of went that way. But we started to see that because we were so passionate about the product, people were coming on board, buying the product with us. And all of a sudden it's like, we're making money. Like we just made $500. We just did this is crazy. Like we could pay our electricity bill, buy a new refrigerator, whatever it needed to be. We were able to do little things. And then within, I guess, 7 months of being in the business, Josh had to have back surgery, because he was lifting up patients and putting them in the bathtubs and doing what he had to do, and ended up hurting himself really bad. He had to have emergency back surgery. He hadn't been with the VA for maybe a little over a year, so he didn't have a lot of sick time, and he was out for 6 weeks. And through that, and let me tell you, this is crazy, and it's still crazy to me today. In August of 2012, we made a little less than $500 in Zurvita, which was amazing. I mean, it was just nuts for us. We were so excited. But the power of the industry and the power when you start having people come together with the same common goal, and it wasn't to make money. A lot of these people that joined our business, they weren't here to like go, I'm going to make thousands of dollars. It was like, I have a product that works and I have started sharing it with my whole family. And that's what duplicated our organization in the beginning. But from August to September, we went from making nearly $500 a month to nearly 5,000 in 30 days. Like, it was like nuts. Like, I was like, I can't believe this is happening. And then he had surgery end of September. And then into October, it had gone up to 7,000. And we had like tripled his income. We're like, holy moly, like we can run with this. And within a year, we were able to hit the top of the company. And in this time, it was 2013. Yeah, it's 2013. Our fifth son was born. And we have both been able to do this full time ever since. Like, it's just been like, I want to say that I'm not a person that goes, oh, I believe in destiny and I was here put in this place and my goal in life or my job or whatever, God put me here to be an ambassador in Jovita. I don't believe that. I believe that God gave me an opportunity and it was my job to turn around and take that opportunity and run with it. And I believe that anybody coming in today, or whether you've been in for 10 years, can still take the opportunity that we have and run with it to have the life that you want. And so for us, we have 6 boys and we homeschool and we're on the go. I mean, on a Saturday, we could literally have 8 ball games between whoever's playing. And Josh and I are always in separate cars and he takes 3 and I've got 3 in the car with me looking bored. But that's our life. And we're so blessed to be able to have this opportunity that doesn't force like Josh to have to be at work from 9 to 5 every day or whatever it may be. And me on the road all the time. Like, Josh is literally in charge of sports and I'm in charge of school, and we're able to break that up and still have an income, you know, at the same time. Our 6th son, Brecken, was born in March, like 2 weeks after the lockdown happened. And everybody was like freaking out, you know, and nobody could go anywhere. And there was no toilet paper or nothing. Like, everybody's freaking out. And we had to go home and stay there. And I was like, A, this is such a blessing because we don't have to do anything with the new baby. But B, we are still earning an income today and not freaking out. Like, we didn't stress. Our life didn't change all that much other than the fact that I couldn't figure out, I like to go buy groceries. I couldn't figure that out for a little bit. But other than that, it wasn't such a big deal. And it was such a blessing in a time that has been so hard for people. And I just can't thank Zurvita enough for giving us this opportunity to be where we are today and have the, you know, flexibility that we do.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Audrey. And thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule and say hi to all those boys. All right. Thank you. Now we're going to go to another mama. Looks like she's got her baby on her lap too. And that's Miss Holly Rayner in Dayton, Ohio. Holly, why don't you share your story with us?
Apparently Phoebe wants to share. I just want to start with saying I'm so honored to have been asked to share today. This is huge. This is women's event. It's always been close to my heart. And so this is just amazing. Happening here. Can you give me a second? Okay. I too needed to restart here. Let me take you back. I grew up with an alcoholic father and a codependent mother. Probably some of you can relate to that. My mom taught me all about retail therapy and poor money management, so that was fun. I was looking for love and acceptance anywhere. Good grades, people pleasing, too many boyfriends. So you can guess what happened there. I was a young mom at 17, 4 kids by 20. Yes, I finished high school, graduated from college, not once, but twice, because that was what the right thing was to do. I worked full time and just tried to survive. That's really all I was doing, was surviving. And if I'm being honest, that's all I knew. That's how my parents lived. I felt overwhelmed and unsure of myself. Can anyone relate to that? I started a massage business in our home while working full time with 4 kids. It took years to build that by word of mouth. But 2 years ago, I opened an office outside of our home. It took 15 years to do that. The lesson here is just keep going. You are able. It will grow as long as you don't give up. It was almost 9 years ago when this industry found me. What I found was a community that I had desperately been searching for my whole life. I found the people that believed in me and loved me for just being me, celebrating abilities and helping me to see through all the flaws. Then that business was taken away. But what wasn't taken away from that business was the community. That's what I needed. That community that I longed for was still there. Oh, my granddaughter's helping me. It was a no-brainer for me what we were going to do next. That's whatever the Younts were doing. Because they helped build that community. They instilled those beliefs in a bunch of us, and they were the rock that we were following. Thankfully, God had his hand on all of that mess, and we landed right here. We were finally home. The products have been a missing piece. I had been on a lot of supplements that were great, but this is next level. Fewer products, much bigger impact in my life and at the gym. Another surprise. January 31st, we started over again. We went from empty nesting and complete time freedom to taking emergency custody of 2 of our granddaughters. This is the older one. I'm really thankful for these products, for the energy and the stress reduction and anti-anxiety properties. Now I'm building again, but I'm doing it much differently. Not only because I'm building with small children, but I'm doing it because of them. We spend our days differently. We're doing much more than surviving now. We speak life. We enjoy our time, and we're not just praying for bedtime to get here. So Phoebe knows that she is strong, brave, and beautiful, and smart. We speak good things to ourselves each day. We expect great things to happen today. We trust in God's plan for our life. We accept all of the love, joy, abundance, and success in our lives. We accept all of the people who want to work with us and the benefits that benefit from our gifts and love. Every day we are stronger, healthier, and better. Ladies, do what you can each day to move forward. Inch by inch. Never giving up, and you will reach your goals.
Thank you so much, Holly. And what an awesome story. We appreciate you sharing. All right. Well, it is my honor to introduce the next speaker, who is one of our fearless leaders out in Fairfield, California, Miss Mary Pearson. Mary, we'd love to hear your story.
Good morning, everybody. I hope that today is your day. I'm so blessed to be a part of this. The story, oh my gosh. Well, it starts in 1999 in the industry when I meet this great guy, and he's on the back of this magazine, $250,000. I'm running an appliance company, guys, family business, number 5, first girl, grew up in business. When your name's on the building, you do whatever you got to do, right? 100 hours a week. And I'm like, you make $20,000. How do you do that? And he has me start drinking the stuff because he says, oh my gosh, retail, you guys only drink coffee all day long. I'm like, you know, you guys walk in, the food goes back in the microwave, you drink coffee. And Next thing I know, I'm on stage picking up this $5,000 bonus check and a trip to Maui for 4 people. I'm like, this is fun. And he says, all you have to do is help people get results on the product and help them learn how to be in business. And I love to train. It is absolutely my passion in life to train people to be better. And so I said, okay, I can do that. And for many years, we have made hundreds of thousands of dollars in this industry, guys. I retired at 47. Life was good. Met the guy, right? And he's a pro golfer. Figured I better learn how to golf or I'm never going to see this guy, right? And I grew up with 4 brothers. So, that was kind of like, okay, very challenging, but everything was amazing, right? And then 2008. Now, mind you, we'd been in many companies. And when we were hitting 10,000 a month here, this company would make a bad decision and there goes our income again. So Holly's, yes, I can relate. And you just don't give up, right? It's like, I know the power of leverage in this industry, guys. It's helping the masses and empowering people. And so, but here's what happens in 2008. We get a FedEx every day for all these properties that we had lost that we'd paid cash for. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go back to work. I don't want to go back to work. And so we knew that if you could catch a company at the right time, you can do well in this industry. It's before everybody hears about it, right? So then let me just show you. I'll talk about my first. This is Chet. This is my business partner. For those who don't know him, he is also a top leader in our company. And he was the guy that introduced me to this industry. So his diabetes went out of control. He'd kept it really, under wraps, but just boom, 2 years of doctors and pills. They had him so medicated, I couldn't even understand him. I would make him come out on the porch because he would just lay in bed. I spent the last $10,000 I had to take him to a holistic practitioner. Mind you, we're taking all these products, just trying things. And I remember thinking, I'm going to have to borrow the money from mom and dad when he dies because I won't have any money to bury him. In that company that we were in at the time, we would help people earn BMWs and we would take them out. Pete, you can do this from bed, guys. He was doing 3-way calls. Nobody knew how sick he was. And I would take him out and celebrate. We'd spent the summer in Sonoma opening the market. And this gentleman, and here's where I want you to hear me. Be bold. I'm in another company and this man approaches me and he says, I used to be in your company. I'm like, that's nice. Heard all this before. He says, but I overheard you talking about how sick your friend is. Have you heard of Zeal for Life? And I said, no. Now, it wasn't too good on him because he didn't follow up with me. Well, about 2 days later, this is Robert. This is the golfer, right? And he tells me that they're giving him a couple of years to live and he has multiple problems. And I'm like, God, I don't think I can do this. When I was praying, guys, if you can imagine, broke, I don't know what to do. The 2 men I love the most are dying. And all of a sudden it was like God brought this guy back to my mind. And I said, what if, right? So I meet up with them. I'm not impressed with him in the least. He has a half open canister, a shaker cup, and no doctor's report, no nothing. And I'm like, okay. And I looked at the ingredients and I'd been studying nutrition for a long time, guys. And I went, wow, oh my God. Okay, fine. I'll try it. Sure. I'll get back to you. I took it home to Chet and I started pouring it down his throat 3 times a day. 2 days, his eyes turn white. Day 3, he sleeps through the night. And in 5 weeks, he got his life back. Guys, he had written his will to me. But now I got a dilemma. I'm in another company. I make $8,000 a month. I can't just walk away. this was incredible. So we reached out to Coulter Brinkley, who is our business partner in this company. And he said crazy stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I've heard it all now. Really? Come on. People are going to put down their canes and walkers and walk around the room in 20 minutes. I'm rolling my eyes, right? So he ships us up a bunch of product. And I apologize, Cindy, give me a nod on the time. I meant to set the timer. So he ships us product. We do a test. 93 people feel it 20 minutes or less. We're convicted. We jump in, guys. $9,000 our first month. Changed my life forever. Robert lived 2.5 years longer. You guys, be bold. Be that guy that approached me and he knew I was in another company. Just be bold for 5 more seconds and start the conversation. I hope God would have brought this company and this product to us. My 90-year-old dad, guys, no cane, no walker, walks 2 miles every single day. Everybody in our family takes this product and everybody's healthy, enjoying life. The world needs to hear about this product. There's so many people out there suffering like I was. I had lost hope. I didn't know what to do. This company came into my life. The products have changed so many lives, and I'm so blessed and grateful. And Cindy, you are amazing. I used to watch you on stage going, oh my gosh. Guys, I would see the people in the magazines and go, oh my God, they're checking into the hotel. And she was always so gracious and then it was so crazy because there was a contest for the first magazine, right? And Robert's like, you better get in that magazine. I'm so sick of hearing you talk about this contest. And then he was so sick when we had one of the events that then they said, if you went to the event, but I didn't go because he was so sick. It was the only event I've ever missed. So when it came around again, he was like, you better get in that magazine. And then he passed away, but he knew I made the magazine and he saw me get my $100,000 ring. And, it's just been a joy, guys, to be a part of this and be bold. Go out. And if you hear that person that was me, open your mouth and reach out and touch them, change their life. And now I want to kick it over. I'm sure I'm over time. I apologize. Jennifer Welch, you guys, is out of Indian Land, South Carolina, and she has an incredible story. Thanks for listening to me share today, guys.
Awesome. Oh, my goodness. I don't know how I can talk after all that. I mean, I'm verklempt. So I just want to thank everyone here for just giving me this moment just to share my story with just among the leaders that you're hearing here today. And it's such an honor. Thank you so much. And just to kind of share my story, I've been, in this industry now for over 25 years. And I'm going to tell you, if you would have met me in the very beginning, I'm going to tell you, there was no way that I would have ever done network marketing, period. I was never the kind of person that would dabble in network marketing. No, I was the hour to hour. It was just one of those things where I knew that these things just didn't work. And when I first took a look at this, and I want to share with my heart, there was an individual that I came across, and it was crazy because, you hear people say, well, network marketing, I landed in network marketing, but I feel network marketing called to me. I was with another company, and it was crazy because at that time I was just floating. I was just trying to be something. I wasn't living, I was existing. And when I was first introduced to network marketing, I'm going to tell you, it was the most scariest thing ever. I literally had a woman come into my home and share with me a product that I really needed. My daughter was in a toothache that was so bad. I needed an emergency visit, and that's what she was offering. And when I took my daughter to the doctors for that visit, the doctor said there's nothing wrong with her tooth. And then my thought process was, it was an emergency. It was bad. And here I'm thinking, so this woman came back to my house, and I want to kind of show you who she is. Her name is Deborah Salvaggio. She was my mentor back in the day. And I have to tell you, she's not with us anymore because she died from cancer. And so it was life-changing for me, just because I'll tell you this. when I was first introduced, she sat there in the room and she looked at me. Now you got to picture this. I'm sitting in front of her in sweatpants, sweatshirt, messy bun, no makeup, don't even think about makeup, and on my left shoulder. And I felt so embarrassed because she come into my home with this professionalism and I'm looking at her like, okay, one of those, trying to sell me on something. And I was having my 4 little girls running around, making noise. It was so unprofessional. And I had throw up on my left shoulder from my 1-year-old because I had little ones that range from age 1 to 7. And she looked at me and she said, you know what, Mama, I think you'd be good at this. And I'm looking at her going, who are you talking to? I said, did you not just see who I am and who I represent as far as my lifestyle? And she said, no, I think this would definitely be something you need to look at. And when she said that, this woman spoke belief into me when I didn't even believe in myself. And that was a game changer. And I tell you, sometimes we need someone else to tell us what we're worth, but it's like trying to be able to understand. And so I want to share with everybody just kind of that moment, that growing into that person moment and what it meant for me and how I realized that it does start and end with us. And so when she mentioned an investment, first thing I thought of was, nope, I don't have the money. Don't even think about asking me. And of course, my husband walks in, sees it, and looks at me and goes, you know, I'm not into any of this stuff. Scott, my husband, bless his heart, we've been married for over 29 years. And he looked at me and said, I don't believe in none of those things. You know, my parents never did well in those. And you know, it's a pyramid scheme, so don't even ask me. So here I'm thinking, I've got so much stacked up against me. What am I thinking? I was currently working a midnight shift, taking care of 4 little ones during the day. I barely had time to manage my own household. My husband was working 16 hours. I was never able to see him. Our marriage was falling apart. And I have to tell you, I was so shy. I was so scared of people. But there was something she said when she said, I think you can do this. And I thought, my goodness, just to feel like what Cindy said, to have someone speak, you know, belief into your heart, that was just huge for me. And so I said, you know what? I don't care. I took my grocery money. And I later told my husband, I took her grocery money. He's like, you better make sure we have no food this week. And I said, don't worry. They said you can make money. I'll make sure I get that money back. And sure enough, he says, well, you make sure and get that money back. You know, that hobby of yours you decide to do. And I thought, oh, my hobby. Okay. So I said, all right. So guess what? In my first 7 days, I made $1,500 in the business. And I made sure he got his $75 back. But I figured since it was a hobby, I didn't need to tell him all the other money I made. And so I said, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and take that money. And mind you, I was broke as a joke. I said, I'm just going to invest that money and not bother him with my hobby. So it was hard. It was so hard. I spent about 6 years doing this hobby. And I thought I was doing this hobby wrong for so long. And what I did was I just made sure I was, you know, though I was building a small income, I tried to make sure I was plugged in to every personal development you could find out there. I mean, because I knew that every time I would have family getting into my head and trying to make me want to throw in the towel. And my husband would literally say, is that thing working for you yet? Because I don't see no money yet. Well, what he didn't tell him, and I'm not proposing this, but I just wanted to prove it to him. So I opened up a separate account. And I put all my money in that separate account. And so as I started moving in this industry, I was starting to get stronger and stronger. And what I found was that if I just went to work and started holding myself accountable instead of holding my team accountable, I was starting to see some growth. And so I started going to work, and all of a sudden my income had grown past what my husband's full-time income was. And I had to come clean. I was being invited to speak and everything else. And he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing with this hobby job that's becoming so important and nothing else matters? And I thought, well, why don't you come to one of our meetings? And so as they were presenting me the top level award, mind you, I want you to picture this. 6 years, I was building this business, trying to do it right. And I couldn't get it right. And when I finally made that shift, that I said, you know what, stop trying to expect things from everybody. Give 100%, zero expectation. You work it, they follow. So I started doing that. And did you know it only took me 6 months to go from the bottom to the top? And it was just crazy. But yet I was sitting on it for 6 years because I was always trying to wait for somebody else to make a move. So my husband came to an event and he looked at me and he said, you're getting an award for top level. You're making just as much, if more. Where's all that money? And I said, well, I got a separate account. And it was so funny because at that point he became a believer, and everybody at the meeting called him Mr. Jen because he kept going up in the front of the room and said, now look at what we're making. And I'm going, you ain't making nothing. I made it all. But it was so funny. I thought, you know what, if that's what he needed to see the proof and to see the growth in me and understand that it takes time to build a business. And I had to have an attitude shift. We said, okay, great. And I thought, yes, he's with me now. So when I talk about things being stacked up against me, let me tell you, I let my guard down. I thought, man, he's with me. He believes me. This is going to be successful. That's when things took a toll in our lives. I mean, at that moment, things were looking up, but then the company decided to make changes within their company. And at that point, it was no longer in our best interest. The company and us split. And we were a part of that with Tracy Jarvis. And it was so crazy that when we finally made a decision and said, okay, we have to walk away because there's nothing else we could do, we had to start over again. And the first thing Scott said was, I knew things like this wouldn't last for too long. And his belief just went in the gutter again. His attitude went from here to, I knew it. I was just waiting for it. And I thought I can either go ahead and just say, forget it. He's right because look, I'm having to start over. Or I can hang in there and just keep showing him proof, showing him that proof. And so in 2008, I have to tell you, when I say your faith is tested in life, I tell you, my faith was tested. In 2008, it was so crazy. We joined up with Mark and Tracy Jarvis, and it was crazy because we already knew their hearts. We already believed in what they believed in, and it was so crazy that our principles aligned with theirs. And so it was a privilege for us to come over here and work with them. But I'll tell you, it was hard because when you're sitting here joining a company that was trying to find their footing, and it was so hard to gain momentum with everything coming at us. I just didn't know what my husband was going to think at that point. And so, of course, 3 years passed. And then guess what? When we decided to roll out a product, I got excited, but my husband got really sick. And I thought, here we go. His belief was already down. And I thought, my goodness, all of a sudden the enemy took over. This is where I tell you, your faith has to be strong. And we were tested once again, and he was told that he needed open heart surgery. But when we found out about his open heart surgery, we didn't know that he ended up with an infection in his heart. And I was told we can't replace his valve until that infection is cleared up. And so we said, okay, no problem. His job was good. They said we got to give him 12 weeks of antibiotics in the hospital. And then his loyal company called him up and said, sorry, but we're going to have to lay you off because you took too long. And we're like, we didn't ask for time off. He's in the hospital. And at that point, I realized you just never know what's out there and whether you have a career or not. And he had a great career, and they laid him off because he took too much time off. And at that point, we finally got him recovered. We were still suffering financially. I mean, I was so scared that I was going to be left by myself. My husband wasn't doing very well. 2 years of this was going on. And finally, he went in for surgery just to find out that it's going to be fine, 8 hours. What was supposed to be an 8-hour surgery ended up being a 14-hour nightmare. It was a 14-hour nightmare. When you have a doctor walk into a room and you're scared to death because someone was supposed to tell you what was going on, to tell you that it took him 7 attempts to revive his heart. That was the reason I stuck with this. It was so crazy. At that point, when they said, would you like to see him? We almost lost him. We were about to give up. And he said, come and take a look at your husband. When I saw him and the doctor had blood from his waist down. It was the scariest feeling. But to see your husband so dead on the table, he looked dead. And all I can think of, what's going to happen to my family? We have no money. We have nothing. And I tell you, it was a godsend. At that point, I decided this has got to stop. We've got to be able to make a change in our lives. And I stopped listening to everybody else rent space in my head. And instead, we went to work. But let me tell you why Zurvita's our family. During that time, we were watching our fellow leaders, Cindy Wright, Andy Dooley, Shannon. We were watching every single one of them go on stage. We have been here since day one, since the launch of this company. And we would watch them go from 0 to 100,000 to 200,000 to 400,000. While I'm sitting there looking over my husband going, are we going to make it? I want that. And we're going to make it happen. And instead of it just giving up the fight, it fueled my desire even more. And let me tell you, my husband woke up from that. And it was just, and we knew that God was in control, because let me tell you, God doesn't make mistakes for the reason why we're here today. And we realized that with all the way things had turned out, we started going to work. And one thing I have to say is Zurvita carried us for the 2 years we were out of commission. 2 years we were out of commission. And I'm not just saying the financial, but it was the support that the family gave us. Every single leader was sending us letters, support, and just provisions, everything to keep us afloat. Mark and Tracy never wavered their relationship with us. They've never changed who they were as leaders. Jay and Susie, it was just so amazing to see this kind of a company change our lives, that I started realizing that, it was all about people asking, what's the secret in this business, Jen? What do you think the secret is about, being successful in life? And the one thing that sticks out for me is no matter how long it takes you, we might be those that are just coming from the bottom and starting all over again, or maybe just recommitting. But I'm going to tell you, we never quit. We never quit, no matter how bad the times are. We just never quit. And the one thing that we've learned now, my husband is one of my biggest fans. You can't ask him otherwise to quit Zurvita. He'll look at you like you're nuts. As a matter of fact, we talk to everyone that walks. Some people will look, even my family will look at us and go, walk away, walk away. They're going to talk about that Zurvita stuff. And here's the bottom line. We realize that as you build and, you're constantly every day building a brand of who you are and who you stand for. And what I realized was, because we never quit, I have to tell you, my family today, used to make fun of me. They don't make fun of me anymore. Now they're asking me, what can we do to better our lives? And people aren't giving up. And so when I tell you that giving up, if you feel like you're giving up on your family already because they're just not going to help you out, let me tell you, sometimes it takes a hero in the relationship to make it. And it doesn't mean anything more than just keep going, never give up. And just like Mary said, be bold in who you are, because it starts and ends with you. And no matter how much, we talk about sharing a secret. I remember Brad Murray at an event. It was crazy. I remember just the different stories that impacted my life becoming the leader that I am today. I remember Brad saying, I could sit here and share the secret about all the ways you can build your business, but you're not going to, if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to do it anyway. So I just, you're here for a reason. You're not here because it's an accident. Act on it. One thing I will say is, when you get upset about your day and things don't go your way, let me tell you, God don't make mistakes for what's going on in your life today. He just doesn't. And when all is said and done, I sit here and I talk about, wow, maybe we're the slow, turtle, and that's okay. But I tell you, because we didn't give up, it has allowed my husband and I to be in our dream home today. I mean, it's funny. Sometimes you don't look back at the accomplishments, but I have to share, I couldn't believe last year, I counted it up. We went on 24 vacations. I'm like, who goes on 24 vacations when we were allowed to? And to be able to pay off 2 BMWs. I'm going to tell you, I'm not at the top yet. I'm just getting started. But the fact that you can love on people 100% and never expecting anything in return. Some people disagree with me on that statement, but I'm going to tell you, you give 100%. And I can guarantee you, it's just unconditional people giving you all the love and the support that you need to build your business and be successful. So that's my story. Thank you so much. That's it for me. But I tell you, these ladies topped it off for me. I do want to share one thing before I go, and that is Cindy Wright has, I don't think she realizes the impact that she has on us ladies. Back when she was sharing her story, I could remember, and I hope I don't put her on the spot, but I can remember her talking about not feeling like she wanted to get up in the morning, and she was just falling apart. And I'm sitting there going, you're speaking to me, you're speaking to me. And so you have those days. You're going to have your ups and your downs. But what I love about the Women Rising is the fact that you can lean to your sisters. I love that Holly said that. I can't imagine Holly not being a part of this company. She just makes it work. Just the mesh of people. We've been here since day one. We've watched people walk across the stage. We have seen things. We've seen the changes. We've seen the struggles. And let me tell you something. I would start it all over again here with Zurvita because you couldn't have asked for a better company to be a part of. So thank you so much. No matter what you do, whatever you start, finish your journey. And I tell you, ladies, that's it for me. Thank you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this back over to my favorite person, Shauna Jarvis.
Hello, guys. Oh my goodness. This has been so incredible. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I have laughed. I've cried. Each and every one of you women have just touched my heart. And I can tell from the chat that each and every person on this Zoom has been touched today. So thank you so much for pouring your heart out to us. I love you so much. So, all right. They always give me the fun stuff. So who is ready for some giveaways? If you're ready, I want to hear it in the chat. Throw me a 1. Let me see you. Are y'all ready? Okay. Let me share my screen really quickly. I have this amazing little wheel. I can't wait for you guys to see this little thing. Hold on. Okay. Can y'all see it? Give me a thumbs up. Okay, so the first prize we have today is going to be our Women Rising hat. So let's spin this little wheel, see who our lucky winner is. Who's it gonna be? Judy Sharp. Congratulations, Judy. Okay, here we go. Let's spin again. Our next prize is also going to be a hat. So let's see who our lucky winner is. I feel like I'm playing Wheel of Fortune. Let's see. It is Bethany Stiles. Congratulations, Bethany. Okay, so this next lucky winner is going to get a Women Rising mug. So we can drink our zeal out of it, right? Okay, let's see. Our lucky winner is Angela Heeman. Congratulations. Okay, let's see. Let's spin it again. This next person is also going to receive a mug. And the lucky lady is, let's see, Ada Garza. Congratulations. Okay, now this winner is going to receive a t-shirt, a Women Rising t-shirt of their choice. So who's the lucky winner? It is is that Jessie Strong? Congratulations, Jessie. Okay, now we have a $25 Zurvita gift card. Who wants this? I want to hear you guys in the chat. Let me see who wants it. Okay, our lucky winner is going to go to, it's going to be Johnny Jones. All right, congratulations. Okay, and our final winner, who's it going to be? It's going to be another $25 gift card. Let's see, our lucky lady is going to be, drumroll. It is Marilyn Day. Oh, congratulations to you lucky ladies. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen really quickly and get you guys back on. Okay, well, congratulations to each and every one of you that won prizes. And now I get the honor of turning it over to, you have heard her name all throughout the morning. She is our founder. She is so inspiring and has truly impacted and touched each and every one of us on here today. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our founder, Tracy Jarvis.
Oh, thank you so much, Shauna. And I am like, oh my gosh, I have been crying, and I'm like, seriously, I probably shouldn't have just not done my makeup today. But these stories all so amazing and truly just, that's why I'm still doing what I'm doing, is because of all these amazing stories. And so I want to start by sharing my story with you. For all of you that are listening, that are thinking, gosh, you've heard all these amazing stories, and, if it happened for them, it can happen for you. And that's really why I got in this industry. So my story is much different than like Cindy. Cindy shared her story about her and Kirby. They did everything, graduated high school, graduated college, did all those things. Mine and Mark's story is so different. Neither one of us have college degrees. And, if you're in that place, that limits you in so many different areas in life when you don't have that. But that's where we were. And this was prior to Mark and I getting together. I was in my early 20s and had gotten out in the world and was trying to live that dream. I always say, as we grow up, there's so many things that we think, man, I'm going to do this when I'm older, when I'm an adult, this is going to be my life, my dream, all these things. And, I got to tell you, it was amazing to me when I look back now and think in my early 20s, I had already lost hope. I had already stopped dreaming. I don't know if anybody can relate to that, but I felt like I was already just existing in life and, lacked the self-confidence. And, the crazy thing is, I grew up, I was a cheerleader. I was the captain of the cheerleading squad. Everybody thought, oh, Tracy is bold. She's confident. She's all that. You know what? It was a shield that I put around myself, right, to protect me. I was very insecure, definitely not on the confident side, and just portrayed, that I was, right? And I'll never forget. So here I am existing in life, not knowing, if I was going to make it through the month, money-wise, right? There were many, many times that the money ran out before the paycheck came in again, right? So I always say Mark and I separately can both, any financial horror story anybody can share, one of us can top it, right? Been there, struggled through all that, and wondered how's my life going to change? And I was modeling full time back then, which is a roller coaster of an industry. It sounds glamorous, not so much. You never know. You get this, rejection of not getting chosen and all that. But that's where I was in my life at the time, and so I was always working out, trying to stay in shape, and that's how I got introduced to this industry. So Cindy Wright met me on a treadmill, and I got to tell you, when I was listening to her story, I was laughing because when she talked about she didn't have confidence, I would have never known that. Now, she had been in the industry a while when I met her, and I got to tell you, I've never met anyone in this business that is a better vision caster, someone who can get you to dream. So I was running on the treadmill and she was beside me. And next thing I know, she had kind of started a conversation with me. And before we left that gym that day, I was so fired up and so hope-filled again that, you know what, there is something that can change my life. There is a better way. And Cindy got me into this business that she was talking about. It was a nutritional company. So she got me started on the product. And, I'll never forget, I was addicted to Coca-Cola. I didn't drink coffee, but every morning, I needed that Coke before I could get going in my day. And that was one of the things that got me so excited was I got off of that. I felt better, right? And I was pretty healthy as it was, but she got me in that business. And I'm going to tell you, she made sure that she locked me in. She had me on the stage doing meetings, I think within a few weeks of me being in. I was not confident to do that, but she goes, you're doing it. Get up there and go. That's what a leader does. A leader pulls you in and they wrap you into this thing of this community like they've been talking about here today. And, that's what Cindy did for me and really gave me the opportunity to dream again. And, I was able to make some money and all that. I really didn't have my success there, though. I learned a ton. She and Kirby, amazing leaders, amazing trainers. I learned so much. But the greatest thing that happened to me in that company was that's where I met Mark. So thanks to Cindy and Kirby, Mark and I are together and Zervita's here today. So thank you, Cindy, from everyone. But met Mark in that company. But he lived in Texas. I lived in Georgia at the time. And so Mark ended up leaving that company. And eventually I just ended up leaving it as well, not working it anymore. I was not having the success. I felt burned out, and it wasn't the company. It wasn't the products. It was me. I just wasn't, following through and doing all the things that I need to do. I didn't have my breakthrough there. So years later, I get a phone call from Mark. And he's going to come to the Atlanta market and build, and he wants to meet with me. Well, I got to tell you, I was like, I don't think so. But I said, funny guy, nice guy, be great to see him again. So I meet with him, and obviously I got involved in the business. And I got to tell you, the reason why is that seed that had been sown in me when Cindy got me into that other company, the dream, the hope, the idea that I could be a part of something bigger than myself, something to help others, that was still there. I still had that desire. I still wanted to have something bigger and more powerful in my life than just existing. I wanted that joy. And so I got involved in the company with Mark, and he really kind of took me under his wing and taught me so much. And we grew in that company in Atlanta, grew an organization that was just amazing. I'd never had that kind of success, and, just kept growing. And obviously I ended up moving to Texas. Mark and I got married. We merged our businesses and worked together. And, we had success. Like, remember, neither one of us college degrees, right? Never had success. Every financial horror story. Here we are now because we had helped so many other people. We had created financial freedom for ourselves, like I had never seen and we had never dreamed of. But because we were good relationship builders. I tell people all the time, I'm not a good recruiter. I'm not a good trainer necessarily. Mark and I got great at building relationships because that was our heart. And I tell you, we never forgot where we came from the financial horror stories, from, the existing, the hopelessness, the lack of dreams, and that, compassion for others carried us to continue to share that with other people. I felt an obligation to continue sharing because there are other people out there just like me that were struggling. So Mark and I did that for 15 years with our company in the field. So we know what you go through. For those of you that are in this business already, we know what you go through. For those of you that might be guests with us today, taking a look, we know, the struggles and how hard it is to grow this business. But we also know, the benefits, the rewards, the success, what it feels like, when you help somebody else, come out of their existence and get back into life and having fun, right? Because yes, we can make money in this business, but it's not all about that, right? It's this community of like-minded people who want to be positive, who want to grow. So Mark and I did that with our other company for over 15 years. And we created, a financial legacy for our family that was just unheard of for people that had come from the backgrounds we did. And, yet we ended up feeling a calling from God. Some things were going on in that company. And we felt God calling us to walk away from it all, from everything we knew, from our income, from what we called our family in that company, and start over, to start a company that would be special. And, as Susie shared the founding principles, God did give those to Mark 2 years before we ever launched Zurvita. And Mark believed that those founding principles would have been with the company we were with, that that was where we were going to be for life, but that just wasn't what was meant to be. So we did in 2008, we walked away and we started Zurvita in faith. That was all we had, was our faith. And, we launched, and the first few years were a struggle. It was crazy times, when you say, man, I wish I'd have been there in the beginning. No, you don't. It was crazy. But when we launched Zeal, that changed everything. It is one of the most amazing products, on the planet. I can say that. I love it. It just absolutely, so beneficial for so many. And if you haven't tried it, I can't wait for you to get it in your body. You'll never want to be without it again. But when we launched Zeal, it changed everything. And we were able to grow Zurvita because of our amazing field leadership to over $100 million in revenue. And, that's amazing. It sounds amazing, but you know what's incredible are the lives that have been changed, whether that's somebody making an extra few $100s a month, or it's somebody, that has replaced their income. They're now living the dream of being their own boss, being at home, whatever it is. When we say one of our founding principles, win at every level, that really matters to us. That's so important. And it might be just that the product changes your life in a way that you never thought could happen, right? You just feel better, right? That matters to us. So, you're on here today for a reason, and you've heard all these incredible stories that, are just so heartwarming and touching. And, so many of us have gone through struggles, and here we are today to share that so that, maybe you're sitting there thinking, gosh, I've had the struggles that, either Holly had, or Jennifer, or Cindy, or Mary, or any of us, right? Maybe you related some way to each of these stories. This business can absolutely help however you need it to or want it to. We truly are a community of just loving people. It really is that simple. That's what we used to do, these Speed 500s. And, that was our motto. We just love people. It's truly that simple, right? That really is what Zurvita's heart is and what it's about. And so we're always out there wanting to share and give other people hope. So if you're stirred up today, if you're sitting there and you're thinking, man, I needed this, we want you to be a part of the Zurvita family. We want you to create your story here that one day you'll be sharing. And, we want to continue to share this. And in today's time, especially, right? I keep saying this, where we've been in 2020, with this COVID and with people being kind of locked down in their homes and, wearing masks, our new normal, right? It's a crazy time, and people are out there and they're struggling. I was visiting with some friends yesterday and choke up thinking about this. This one mom was saying this, psychologist was talking about from their school that so many children today, it was at a hospital. She was sharing these statistics, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but about how many children are trying to kill themselves right now because of this crazy place that we're in right now. We have the opportunity to share hope. We have the opportunity to give people love today that need it. And so every day I stir myself up with that we need to go share that. It could be a smile. It could be us sharing the product. It could be us sharing this message of this opportunity. People need to make more money right now. It's a very trying time that we're living in. And I love how, I forget who said it, but I think it was Audrey. Her life hasn't changed that much through this whole thing because Zurvita kept going. We could work virtually. People's incomes still kept coming in, right? So we have that opportunity. We're so incredibly blessed. And I'm grateful every single day, for this company, for this opportunity, for all of our field leaders. So we're so grateful that you all got on today and you listened to these amazing stories, and we want you to be one of them. So we just hope that, again, you're stirred up, that you're ready to join us. Get back with the person who invited you on this Zoom today and tell them you want to be a part. You want to be a part of this family, and you want to change your story and your life. And we cannot wait to help you, because that's what it's all about, is each of us joining together and helping. So thank you, ladies, all that put this together, all that shared, and thank you for all that joined in today. We love you all. God bless you. Have an amazing day.